Right, here we go again. Frankie Parsons here, reporting for duty, bringing you the very best recommendations in PC games for the single player. What top 20 do you have for us today, Mr. Parsons? I will tell you. It is the action RPG of the indie variety. Let's open the curtain and see which game we're going to be taking a proper look at today. Bringing up those spotlights to shine a light on the matter. Well, it's 9 Parchments. Not only is it dazzling, not only is it sparkling, but it's absolutely smashing. No, but seriously, we'll do our checklist. We've done 2 genres from Tier 1. We've thus far done 3 from Tier 2. Let's drag those into the Abyss. And we've also done 2 from Tier 3. Let's drag those into the said Abyss. Now we're going to do action RPGs today. Now the distinction has to be made between this section and the action RPG from the mainly AAA section. So we'll need to very quickly visit the Steam library. And from here, I don't normally like showing a full set of games under a particular genre before the top 20 reveal, but in this case a distinction does have to be made between those high quality AAA titles and the indie titles. What does link these two together, however, is the fact that they are both isometric and they both employ the Diablo style camera angle. So here we go, here's those that won't be included today. Diablo 2 Resurrected is there, of course, in anticipation of its release later this year, maybe next year. Diablo 3, of course, Path of Exile I've included here as well, and there's a few other major hitters there as well. Let's go back to the 48 genres. And from here, just to stress one more time that those games were, of course, from Tier 1, which will not be included in today's top 20, which are as follows. Remembering, of course, to lay down our medals as per our usual routine and bringing in the contenders who certainly have enough promise that they may earn their place later on, but games I've actually not yet played. Let's bring in the bronze medalists. A set of 4 games that really didn't quite do it for me. I mean, Sands of Solzar certainly had a lot of style but lacked a certain sort of substance. Oceanhorn, really a mobile game. The Guardians of David was a bit bland, and Chronicon for me was a quite a big disappointment. I found that to be pretty unbalanced. Silver. 2 retro games there, of course, Divine Divinity and Sacred Gold from the 20Os, considered classics of their time, along with 2 lesser-known indie-developed titles, Runic Rampage and Trigger Saint. Right, on to gold. Okay, we've got Book of Demons, we're done with a very interesting aesthetic made to look like everything's made out of cardboard. We've got Cat Quest, which is a kind of open world game which doubles as a level select screen. We've got Stories, Path of Destinies, which is an interesting roguelike, and Transistor, made by Supergiant, which is like real-time action with pause. Very interesting mechanic there. On to the Platinums. Right, this is another game from the Supergiant Studios. This is absolutely fantastic, really cool aesthetic, fantastic soundtrack, brilliant way the kind of story unfolds. That's definitely worth a try. We got Deathspank, a lesser known game made to look like an endless pop-up book. That one's certainly worth a try as well. Today's game 9 Parchments we'll look at in a second. And finally, this is like a real-time game but with pause, and Tower of Time almost borderline is a borderline JRPG, I would say. Anyway, let's have a look at 9 Parchments. So here we are, this is what you get when you first launch the game, the home page. You'll notice, of course, a very similar resemblance to the Trine series. That's because it's done by the same developer, i.e. Frozen Byte. You've got the same fairy tale aesthetic, the same storybook vibe. Looks a lot like Christmas, I would say, the same sort of sparkle, right down to the same font here. And of course, you'll also have the same voice actors when you get started. We'll first have a look at the unlocks. These are the items that you get when you continue with the game. You'll get hats, mainly cosmetic changes there. You'll get different staves. I've only collected 3 so far. These you can equip on your character when you go into the game. You also have different spells. An interesting touch here is there's thumbnails, so you get an animation and also some information about it underneath. So there's lightning bolts there, you get frost bolts, and you get lightning bolts there. So those you pick up as well. Levels, there's only 10 I've completed so far. You get about 20, maybe about 26 or so levels altogether. You can collect feathers as you continue your journey, so you pick those up in the environments as you go along. So there is a collectible feature. Enemies, you've got a bestiary here. So again, thumbnail of the creature and some information about it underneath. So you're free to peruse that. You can also do this in the game. You have achievements. And you also have, scroll through very quickly there, and statistics, so there's some information there also. So lots of information. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive into my game. We're going to resume it, We don't need to go into any of the others. This is about the main game, and off we jolly well go. So here we are at level 10. I've got rid of a few of the monsters to clear the way. You'll notice straight away, first of all, apart from the gorgeous environment, that the UI is condensed above your character's head. Now, I'm using the Xbox controller, and when I press the bumper, I can elect to equip certain spells. That equips the Ice Bolt, that equips the Fire Bolt, that's, I think it's called the Death Attack, First Aid, Lightning, etc, etc. You've also got just above his head a green bar, that shows his health. The blue bar shows the cooldown, so when I use a spell, for example, like so, you'll notice the blue bar there going down a little bit. I've got a blink ability as well, so looking at the rectangle on the far right side there, that white pinkish glow, when I use that, the cooldown there goes down a little bit as well. So I can only use that kind of 2 times, and then I have to wait for that cooldown to refresh itself. You can see he does run in a rather strange manner. It looks like he's wading through mud. A very strange run he's got there, but overall I think this game looks absolutely magnificent. Now we're going to come across our first encounter around this corner and blink there, and we'll see how combat works. So we'll just enter the combat area, and you'll see some enemies spew forth. Now what you can do, you want to be really nerdy about it, is go to your unlocks, have a look at your enemy bestiary, and actually see some of them do have weaknesses. So you can scroll down and you can see what weaknesses they have. So that's if you really want to kind of go to town with this combat. Now I'm going to start pounding away on these opponents. Lots of them are having shields up, and as you see my blue bar is now depleted, so I have to wait a little bit for that to recharge. The blink, however, I can still use. Again, as you can see, the blue bar depleted. Now when the light comes on the spell indicator there on the left with the fireball, that means I can actually use it. Getting into a spot of difficulty here, so what I'll do is I'll throw out a first aid, and when I run to this cloud area, you'll see my hit points go up. I think I might have to do some melee attack if I remember what the melee attack is. That's the melee attack, isn't it? Right, let's go. Let's see if we can give these guys a proper fight now. So here goes. Let's jump for no apparent reason. Right, and he's got the barriers up. Got some sort of barrier. Let's get a fireball, and hopefully we can get rid of him. And there he goes. Okay, onward to the next area. So as you can see, the combat is a little bit challenging. It does get a little bit more challenging as you go along. You do also have jump here as well, so that's nice. Up we go. Kind of a darkened area here. Now these are quite obvious. If it's blue, then obviously they don't like firebolts very much, so we can get rid of him immediately. We can also get rid of this guy. No, with the right attack. That's Ice Bolt. We'll blink over here. Hopefully he can go with an Ice Bolt attack. Blink over there. I've got Fire Bolt, so let's get rid of this fire enemy. Once we get rid of him, we can go to Fireball. Show off the blink attack. Hopefully dispatch these guys. See if I can get him with a melee. Whack him a bit with a melee. There he goes. And your hit points do replenish after a while, so you don't have to throw out a firebolt, a first aid thing, that's what I was going to do there. And we can carry on our merry way. Up we go. And there you go. And as you...
I'm 100% participating in that.
Yeah, and as you can see, it's a really nicely presented game, a lot like Trine in many ways. Somebody said it's like a top-down version of Trine, and it is a bit like that, but certainly with the emphasis on much more on combat rather than puzzles. Let's get rid of this guy. Again, so let's throw out a first aid. Actually, you don't need to. You may have noticed there that hit points do replace pretty immediately after a certain attack, so you don't have to worry about that. Let's get up the ready with a fireball. I'll show you a little bit more gameplay, and then we'll call it a video there. I think Ice Bolts required here. Yeah, I thought melee might actually work better there, but no. It's better to just keep on spamming the Ice Bolt at him. Blink and attack from behind, blink and attack. If I can get the right attack spell. And there you go. So that's it, guys. That's 9 Parchments. It's a thoroughly recommended game, and I will see you in the next video.